you doing today? I'm listening today. When was the last time you were being quite clumsy? When was the last time you were being quite clumsy and doing something new? This week, earlier this week, I asked you, what is a life well lived to you? So you were to have a life well lived, a year of life well lived. What does that look like? For me personally, that involves growth because living this life, even when you look at cells and things in the body, they are either growing or replacing thing, or they start disintegrating. So living life, we're either growing or we're disintegrating, which means to me a life well lived. And you might have different idea, please do share yours. But a life well lived, one of the things is that we continue to grow, to expand our ability to serve, to bring good, to create. Now you might say, I'm a stay-at-home parent. So what growing and surfing and what have you? Let me ask you, is your kid growing? If your kids, let's say you're a stay-at-home parent and your kid's growing, then you're growing along with that. If you never have teenagers in your life before, you stay-at-home parents and you have babies and you have toddlers and so forth, and then now you have teenagers. I suspect you would agree that you grow along. You learn a whole lot along with as the kid grow. And if you have more than one child, every kid's different. The oldest one doing this, the youngest one doing something completely opposite. So you keep growing there. You keep learning, and when we're growing and when we're learning, more in general, it is very normal and it's kind of expected for us to be clumsy. Many people have this expectation, which is always fascinating to me. And back in the day, to a degree, I actually also used to have these expectations that, okay, I'm learning something new and I'm doing something completely new. And at the same time, I want it to be pristinely perfect the first time, kind of like you want to dance waltz and you never will do the waltz dancing and you want to be graceful across the ballroom or something like that. But most people have that expectation. You never done impromptu presentations and then they said, oh my god, I could have done da 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 da. What about if you just allow yourself to be a little clumsy, to be a little clumsy, to be a little imperfect, and to kind of just perhaps stumble a little here, stumble a little there. If you look at kids, if talking back about kids, if you look at children, when they first started to learn, this is including yourself and myself actually, to learn to walk, we were quite clumsy. We stumble, we fall, we do all these things that, and then even as we are able to stand and start walking, practically every kid that everybody know is the kids still kind of like wobbly and not very steady and maybe run into this thing and then still trip from time to time. So we are meant to be clumsy when we start things. But some fascinating reasons as adult, we if we make a mistakes, if we have an oops and things like that, we say, oh my goodness, stupid me. Oh my God, why the heck did I do that? What possessed me? Oh my goodness, and so on and so forth. So how about I invite you to join me to give yourself permission to be clumsy is one, but also seek being clumsy. And this is my peace of mind tip for you as well this week. In addition to allow yourself permissions to be clumsy, to seek being clumsy, look back and say, when was the last time I was clumsy? Why? Because if you have moments of clumsiness being adult, that's probably typically shows that you are growing and life is either growing or disintegrating. So you want to have moments of clumsiness from time to time. You learn something new, and as you learn something new, you practice something new, allow yourself to be clumsy. It's actually, funnily enough, it's one thing that I learned as I became a doctor back in the day of the day. They said, it's like, of course, you're not going to be doing that. Back in the day, I was still doing surgery. They're like, you can't do surgery perfectly at the first time. You will take you that many time. And then if it is something you haven't done for a long time and you decide to revisit, you might just be clumsy too. Just like if you were to ask me to do surgery again for some fascinating reason, even the simplest one, I will be like, how do I even hold this thing here, the instrument? Because I have not touched the surgery table for like 20 years anyhow. So allow yourself to be clumsy and seek being clumsy from time to time, because that's an indication that you are growing, that you're living your life, and that you're creating and living a life well lived. And please share in the comment below when your last clumsy moment. And please share in the comment below what is it for you to having a life well lived. Perhaps you have different thoughts about this, and I would love to hear about that. And please share in the comment below if there are ways that you are going to seek being clumsy now that you've heard this. And this is Burjit with Joyful Riches Beyond Grip. I love you very, very much. I see that as you embrace as you allow and embrace being clumsy, that you continue to grow, bringing even more good to others, more good to yourself, and creating a magnificent, beautiful life one day at a time, and creating a whole thriving, beautiful life as a whole. And I love you very much. I look forward to see you again very, very soon.